Hallo zusammen zu einer neuen Enjoy Your Bike Podcast Folge. Heute mit Louis Wu neben mir. Yeah, welcome to my show and to our show and we're talking about COROS today. Also jetzt nochmal kurz auf Deutsch. Wir sprechen natürlich jetzt Englisch und in der nächsten Folge kann ich mit André natürlich auch nochmal viel im Deutschen erklären, was wir hier besprochen haben. Alle, die ein bisschen Englisch können, hoffe ich, dass ihr jetzt viel verstehen wird. Es wird nämlich sehr, sehr spannend. Es geht um COROS, die Gründungsgeschichte, wie alles zustande kam und ihr seht hier gleich im Hintergrund schon Fahrräder. Das heißt, COROS wandert jetzt auch aufs Fahrrad und das wird natürlich super spannend für uns alle jetzt hier. So, welcome again to our show. I'm really excited that you made the way to Europe and to visit us here.
Yeah, my pleasure. It's been a fun trip and I'm glad I'm here. And thanks for having me.
Yeah. And we talked sometimes or with WhatsApp and Zoom calls years ago, and I was always pushing to a bike computer, and now finally I see a COROS bike computer, and I think we have to wait a little bit to get into detail of this, and I was not able to see. I see the bike computer over there. This is the nearest I came to the bike computer because you show it live to me. I really didn't see anything about. I knew some specifications and some renderings in the background, but I didn't have the device in hand. So I'm really looking forward. Yeah. And so your history. You're the co-founder of COROS, and you're also a sporty guy, as far as I know. You are doing trail runs and hiking, climbing, and everything. So, what's your main sport?
Well, yeah, my main sport actually sometimes depends on the COROS roadmap. Like what kind of product we developed recently, or then in the next couple of months, then I'll switch my focus over there.
Ah, okay.
But outside of the business-wise, I spend most of the time climbing. Yeah. For the type of climbing that I do is more adventurous or big wall or like multi-pitch, which still requires quite a bit of aerobic capacity. Okay. So I do running for my aerobic training. Sometimes I go out for trail run events, races. And then obviously recently I did a lot of biking. Okay. Well, biking is fun. It's fun to have 3 sports ready and then you pick whatever is available to you. Yeah. Like on a trip like this, I don't have access to my bike, so I'll go out around for more.
Yeah, in terms of climbing, you're the only ones who make a Vertex 2 adapter for putting it on your climbing belt, right? This is because you are the climber, right?
I mean, I can't deny it. I definitely have some influence on it, but it's the entire team's effort to make it happen, right? Because we figure like it's in the COROS business. Yeah, we do very well in running, and we are going to be very well in cycling. I'm pretty confident. And outside of these, let's call them, I shouldn't call them traditional sports or mature sports, but basically those sports are where consumers know how to use sport technology product. But there are also other sports that consumers don't know are this new. Like climbing for us, it's almost like running 20 years ago. Climbers just go do whatever they want. But a technology product like ours will be able to help them to train better, train more efficiently, and achieve a better performance goal. And then obviously tracks your adventure, either indoor or outdoors. So that's the value of our products, and we'll hope to make something happen and hope to educate a new group of new consumers to join, our journey.
Yeah, nice. So we will go later on. We have the history of COROS, how everything began. I will ask you. I will ask you about. I have a few questions, so I'm really looking forward to it. And what I do with guests often in our podcast, what we do is to make a or B section. And I don't know if there is an English word for it. We call it A or B. You can choose one. You can, but you're also allowed to discuss everything or choose both, because I have some difficult questions which you can't answer directly.
Okay, well, let me try. I'm up for the challenge.
So the first thing is coffee or tea?
I have a coffee. I usually am a coffee guy.
Okay. Early bird or long sleeper?
Early bird more. I wish I could be a long sleeper, but no, never got a chance.
Run with music or enjoy the silence?
For 60% of my run is with audio, music.
Okay.
And then
but not every, okay.
Not every, because like when I got to a new place, I want to hear what's around me on this trip, for example. So
it's the same with me also. Great. If you have this, always this, if you're running the same route at home, it's sometimes nice with music, especially if you do, or podcasts, and sometimes not. Climbing or diving?
Climbing. That's an obvious answer. I've tried diving here and there, only for a few times for leisure.
Okay. Cycling or running?
That's tough. I think that depends.
Okay.
I'll take both. I like both.
All right. Yeah. So now in terms of bike, I don't know how we didn't talk about it, or if you are into bikes and which bikes you are riding. I really don't know. Gravel bike or road bike?
Gravel bike? Well, actually, I was a cyclist before I was a runner.
Oh, okay.
So I biked quite a bit when I was in school.
All right, I didn't know.
In my early 20s.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, I studied in China. That's one of the most proud athletic projects I've done over that time, is to bike all the way to Tibet. It's about 1,900 kilometers.
So in China?
In China.
Okay.
Yeah, it was and then from another province to all the way to Lhasa, is the center of Tibet.
Yeah.
So it took me like 19 days alone, solo, myself.
Nice.
And to go up and down the valley and peaks, like 5,000 meter mountain pass you have to go, and then drop all the way down to the valley and go up again. So it's a very fun trip.
And how long is it away?
19 days. It took me 19 days.
Which year was it?
Oh,
it's in the 2000s?
It's like 18 years ago, 2006? Probably 2006,
okay.
Yes.
And was it okay with traffic in China and everything? Because it's very crowded. I was there once, and it's...
Oh, depending on which part of China.
Yeah.
But on the particular route, I think half of them was unpaved. It's like a rough gravel roads, if we should call it, or even worse than gravel, muddy road, because it was rain season. It was raining almost every day. We didn't have GPS or anything. There was I think I used like a cat eye speed meter or something. And I had the Nokia phone.
Okay.
And then because it's so wet, rainy, and even the phone get the rain into, and then the phone was caught on fire. Because I used a little bit of a navigation tool on the phone.
Oh, okay.
To see where it is. But it was fun. It was a really good trip, and you don't really have any hotel or anything. I sleep in people's house, in the temple, and it was very fun.
Wow. Ah, nice adventure.
Yeah.
So another question: mountain bike or gravel bike?
Gravel. I think gravel is just the best combination.
But the China trip was with the mountain bike?
By that time, it was probably a cross-country mountain bike.
All right, because there was no gravel at this time.
No gravel bike by that time.
Interesting, yeah. So next one, structured training or just running?
Depend on my goal. For the most part, when I have a very clear goal, I go with structured training.
Okay.
Like even for my climbing as well.
All right.
So I would work with coaches. I had a coach that helped me for one of my climbing projects. And then after that, I knew how to do these things myself. So I started coaching myself.
Okay.
Nice. But when I don't have any particular goal, I just enjoy the run.
Okay. So now, tech stuff. Mac or PC?
Mac for now.
Okay. iPhone or Android?
iPhone.
Now tech stuff, which is tricky maybe. COROS Pace 3 or Vertex 2S?
You don't pick the Apex? There's Apex between these two.
Yeah, I took the
two ends.
Yeah.
Well, I have the Vertex 2S on my wrist.
All right.
It's a prototype product, pre-release. We use some different components just to test it out. So it's not the standard Vertex 2S. But for now, I use it because it does everything.
Yeah.
Right? It has a lot of mountain sports profile built into it. So if I had only to carry one watch, I'll go with the Vertex 2S or Apex.
And now you have in the housing of the Vertex 2S, you have future sensors or something like this, or?
Well, the sensors are similar to the Apex 2 Pro. That it has. So it's just Apex 2 Pro is a little bit smaller profile, so a little lighter. I actually consider myself a very typical Apex user.
All right.
So I'm doing the fast and light mountain sports.
Yeah.
So sometimes I got to the road to do a bit faster, and sometimes I go to the mountains. So it does everything that I do.
Okay.
Vertex is a little bit bigger for me. So if I have an option, I would pick an Apex Super Pro.
All right.
Personally.
So I choose.
Sorry,
I choose the the one you choose, the one that I didn't know. So now it's a tough one. Kilian Jornet or Eliud Kipchoge?
Oh, for which part of life? I enjoy both of them.
Yeah,
I like the relationship that we built over time. But I mean, personally, I think I do more of the sports like Kilian is doing.
Yeah,
I mean, like mountain sports. I just feel marathon is too tough.
Yeah.
I mean, in the mountains you can slow down. You enjoy the view. You know, enjoy the journey. And it gave me excuse to slow down.
Yeah.
And for marathon, everybody's pushing hard. You have to push hard as well.
What I see interesting, because these are not everybody knows it. These are your both main ambassadors, I think.
Yeah, they are.
And you choose ambassadors kind of. What I like. These are really two personalities that are kind of
great humans.
Yeah, great humans. Yeah, that's not the. I was able to meet with Eliud, and it was kind of he was so calm and so kind of nice guy. And anyway, he filled the room without being loud and without being here I am and stuff like this. And the same with Kilian, and this is kind of interesting that you choose these guys as ambassadors.
I don't know if we choose them or they choose us, but it's a mutual relationship. And, when we figure out who should we partner with from the COROS side, the number one rule is whoever the athlete has to actually use the product every day, deep in the ecosystem, right? Because we don't want to just pay someone, hey, you wear a nice picture. That's not what we want to achieve. It's actually part of their training cycle, like part of their, like our mission as a company is to help consumers to achieve your athletic goal. Yeah. Whether it's breaking the world record or to run your first 5K or to cycle whatever first trip you have. They're all goals. But our job is we don't stop at the day you purchase the watch. We want to help you throughout the whole journey. Training, structure system, everyday life, fitness monitoring to tell you when to recover, when to put more training load and all these things. So we want to help you and get you to your first goal, first race, for example. And to be honest, those racing thing is addicting. Like you finish your first one, you're gonna sign up for the next one tomorrow, very likely. And then that keeps us going on, and then that maintain our relationship with our consumers. Like we're basic friends in the community. Like we all love the sport, and we help you, and you give us positive feedback. We build more features, products for you. And that's how when we decided like, who are the athletes, and we wanted to make sure they love the product, they will use the product, and then that's part of life. You just don't go out or run or bike without a device right now. Yeah, exactly.
So you started, I think it's 2018 with COROS, with the first watches. So there was kind of a market full of GPS devices, which are kind of full of functions, and then you came with COROS, and there are smaller brands, bigger brands in the market, and one big brand, I think, and then you came. So it's a risky thing to get in such a market. And what drove you to try it? Because usually you see like smaller brands that are not really doing anything in the market or keep small. So what was your thing?
Well, that's a great question. We got to ask about this question all the way from 6 years ago until today, and then now we're talking about new area for COROS again, right? Cycling. That's another, like, why do you think you can survive? Or why do you think you can do better? So, well, first of all, it's not a one-person decision. It's definitely a group of team. Like, we have very talented, smart people on our team that we make decisions ourselves together. So, back in the days where we, obviously people have been using GPS watches for running for a long time. And then before we make any business decision, whether it's a bit as big as like, shall we do watches or bike computers, or as small as one feature, shall we launch it? Like, shall we launch this new UI or like user interface to make this change or not? Like, we always ask ourselves, what could we do better for consumers?
Okay.
Right. That's the number one thing. It's the consumer experience that drives our whole decision making. So obviously back in 2018, we were like, we know there are bigger markets out there, right? We know there's big brands and then smaller players here and there, and then people trying to differentiate themselves. So the first answer to us, like, what was the problem we can't solve? And then back in the days, better life was one thing.
Okay.
So before COROS came on board, like, I don't remember any watch like a trail runner can finish a UTMB without charging. Even the 100K, a UTMB is too long.
Yeah, I remember that we had charging devices on our arms or battery packs.
Or brands that set up charging station at the aid station for you to charge the watch, and then you can keep going, right? So that was a big pain for trail runners at least. So we came on offer the watches that can last 35 hours plus, and that truly validates, like, to finish the 100K or 100 mile, if you're fast enough, an average fast runner, you can do it. So that was the number one problem that we solved. And then for us as a small company, like, obviously we don't have that much resources. We still don't spend a lot of money in marketing, paid advertisement, all these things. We found to focus in one sport is the way to go.
Okay.
Like, trail running was the one sport. Although a watch could do everything. You can do triathlon, you can do cycling, you can do even weightlifting around nowadays with the watches. But we just picked one. And trail running was not as big as today back in 2018.
Yeah.
And there was, like, also there's no other brands that are paying attention to trail running, to be honest, by the time. So we enter a market with a strong product that solved their problem. And then we're also lucky in the community that people talks a lot with their friends about what kind of watches they're using, right? That's the beauty of sports community. People do things together, talk about equipment. You don't talk about your vacuum machine at home with your friends as much, but you'll talk about running shoes, running watches, right? So that's the advantage of our communication channel. As long as we build a good product and keep the current product, customer happy, they will talk about you organically. So yeah, we gained the first success with trail running for the first year or two. At one time, if you went to a Facebook like ultra running group asking people what kind of watches do you recommend, like 50% of people would say COROS. Like,
okay.
That's a huge market share for a young brand like us. So that was pretty impressive. Well, we're getting pretty much confident, like showing like what we do is working. And then that's the business philosophy that we gain almost from the first day, and then build confidence that we use the same business philosophy all around. After trail running, it was road running. I don't know if you want to talk to me about that right now or later.
Yeah, we will do. So there was a specific focus on trail running, and which was the watch which kind of was the big breakthrough then? Not the Pace One. I think it's the second one.
Not the Pace One. The Apex.
Apex.
Basically, the second watch that we launched.
And which decisions technically went into the watch due to the trail running thing? Because what I remember from the past, first we were already in contact, and I was not sure about your watches. And then it was Cody in the past who gave me one watch said, okay, try it. And well, I was not confident. Especially we are Europeans. We are more difficult than the US American market maybe. And I said, okay, how do I trust a company that I don't know so good, which is kind of a niche thing and they start first? Do I lose my runs and it's not reliable enough and stuff like this? And so what was this thing, what you put into the watch that at the end was a success? Because I know from my side, the first there was two things. Battery life was kind of amazing. Just you can forget about charging for a week or 2 weeks. I'm not a trail runner to run 24 hours, but for me it's important just to charge every 1-2 weeks or something like this. The second was that you were not the cheap brand because you put sapphire glass on it, which is kind of really makes the watch more expensive, and you are not the cheaper watch compared to the other brands. Although you are the newcomer, you are not the cheaper one, which is also kind of difficult. And then there was the reliability thing, which I was not sure about. And you delivered in 3 things which I didn't expect, like sapphire reliability. Was this the key of success, or is there any other invisible thing that I did not saw that you have this great success?
I don't think there's the one particular big moment or big problem that we solve that triggered the success. It's a whole company, getting together and trying to solve problem. Like, still back to the consumer. Like, could we deliver something that really solved consumers' problem? Like, we pick sapphire glass not because it looks good. Obviously, it looks good. It makes the watch look more premium. But also, sapphire glass is something almost a must-have for an outdoor watch. Because there's oftentimes you may fall during a trail run or during a scrambling on a climbing trip. Your wrist hit the rock and we break the glass. And then sapphire glass is the only option. Like, a pace watch is specifically designed for fast athletes that's mainly training within like an urban environment. Which you don't fall as often, hopefully.
But then, so there you don't need the sapphire glass.
You don't need it. So people wanted to have the lightest watch possible, and then being very accurate because the weight of the watch contributes to the heart rate accuracy. So that's why Pace was built extremely lightweight with the Pace 2, right? That was a huge success for road running. But for like sapphire glass, for long battery life, and then truly it's the ease of use that has been in our DNA from very early to all the way to today, right? And that ease of use is such a thing, like you cannot put it on a spreadsheet, on a spec or selling point, because every single company calls their product easy to use. Like, consumers don't believe anymore, right? And how do we say ease of use? It's through consumers' word of mouth. I use the product. I love it. I'll introduce it to my friend. Oh, this is super easy to use. Look at this. Right? And that's why we had the Apex, like you've noticed, we started using the digital dial. Right? It's essentially the more buttons you have, the more complicated the product could become. Right? And then with the dial, runners run sometimes with a water bottle on hand, and you only have one finger to use to do something on the watch. And then with the button, you have to press it. Two fingers, and then you have one finger. It's awkward to do this way. So that's one driver, like a dial works. You just use dial with one finger to operate and to go up and down. We introduced touchscreen later, so you can just swipe it quickly. Like, we don't do complicated things. We don't play video games on a watch. So it's just one swipe, and that's only a few touchscreen applications that we enabled. To really truly have the sports in mind, and then to have built the right experience for athletes. Touchscreen
can be distracting if it does the wrong things.
Exactly.
By mistake. And this was something I liked a lot in the beginning, that you only allowed to switch pages with touch.
And move maps.
And the ease of use thing was kind of, I made a video of your watches on our Enjoy a Bike channel. We sell your watches, and the first success I really had, it's the same like, let's talk of other brands like Wahoo in cycling. Was kind of a bike computer, which was an ease of use bike computer. And you were kind of, I compared the COROS like Wahoo because you are the ease of use thing. Because I really remember until today, your UI is easier to understand than the Apple one. Because you have just like the dial and the back button. You don't need to, even if you have more functionality, you can use a long press, stuff like this, and you can use touchscreen and stuff like this. But at the end, you only need to know, okay, I scroll with the dial, I can tip with the dial, and I always come back with the other button. Even if I go into the menus anywhere, I always come back. And no other device, I don't know any device which can do it. And Apple misplaced their dial thing, because if you put the dial, you go into menu and back to the thing. It kind of, this is interesting.
We
did you know that while you're developing this, did you know that you disrupt the UI, or that you are really make it really the easiest way? That there is no easier way, maybe?
So far, that's the easiest way we found so far. If there's an easier way, we'll find out in the future. We'll do it. I mean, everybody appreciates things that's easier to use, because technology, I mean, to improve your life is not to make your life more complicated, right? So even the long battery life thing, for extreme endurance athlete, you need it for running for a couple of days. But for everyday athlete like you and I, we just don't charge it as often, right? You have the trust on the watch. Like I have not charged it almost for 20 days for the watch. And when I'm on a trip, sometimes I don't even carry my charging cable with me.
It was the same with me. Two weeks holidays on cycling holidays and no charging cable.
Yeah, totally. That makes my life easier. And then we found the same opportunity in the cycling world. Like, how can we make the cyclist life a little bit easier? Because cyclists, you have more to worry about than runner. You're gonna spend 15 minutes in your garage putting everything together before you go out for a ride. It's too much. How can we help a little bit at least?
Okay. Right? So did you expect to become a reasonable player in the watch business? Or just hoped it?
Back in the years? Right. Well, there's always risk in any business decision making, right? But the number one rule that we believe is, one, we need to make a different product. We need to solve consumers' problem. And as long as we can achieve that, the market is big enough. Two is consumers will appreciate it and make sure you have a place on the market, on the platform. So I think we've approved that so far. And even if today, if there's a young company show up to do the similar things in the similar industry, but if they can solve another problem that everyone else cannot solve, they will in the market anyways. So it's always from the consumer. It's always started from there. And that's why, to touch a little bit on the bike, I mean, you mentioned you brought up this idea to us like a couple of years ago. Hey, when COROS is gonna make a bike computer, how would that look like? We got a lot of requests of that as well, but we didn't do it because we didn't think we can make something different or better than anybody else on the market or solve a particular problem. So we didn't do it. We didn't want to do it. Just try. Hey, I want to make a good bike computer comparable with others. Start making some money. That's not the goal that we built this company. We want to try to be different. So we kept thinking about it, looking around until we believe, that sounds right. There's one way to make it better. And then we start working on it.
Okay.
And then we're ready to roll with it.
Was there a specific event or a success with the watches where you saw, okay, now we are in the market? Is there one thing that you have in mind, or is it kind of the journey all over with everything?
It's a journey all over. Our decision making is very not much of number driven, like financial numbers. If you ask me how much revenue we were last month, I couldn't remember. right? But the one thing that we remember is what are the current problems that have not been solved for consumers? Like, what are the software roadmaps for the next quarter, next 6 months, or a year? What are kind of complaints, product complaints people still have that we can do better? That's something that on our mind every day.
So one last question about watches, and then I want to head over to the bike computer because I'm seeing it over there all the time and want to get it in the hand first time. So there are two things that I find interesting, especially because I'm also cycling related or more cycling related than running related. There are companies making cycling computers without having the training platform in the background. And only one big company has a great training platform, which I have to say, in the background. And COROS, you are the only one who... I know 2-3 other small brands who have training platforms, which is very complicated to use and stuff like this. But you are the only one compared to others who has also very easy to understand training hub in the background. And I think for me, like Wahoo, for example, is doing nothing like this. You can have a bike computer, and the bike computer works great, but you don't have any analysis. You get some information about your ride, that's it. And then you have to go to Strava and so on, which are important platforms also for you, I think, and Komoot and stuff like this. And it's expensive and hard to do this training hub. And so how was the decision there, and was it the right decision? And
we're definitely in a better position than 6 years ago when talking about launch a new line, because we already have the foundation of a training system, a training platform, and the sports science behind it. It's better. Like we're not started from nothing. And then the training philosophy across most of the aerobic endurance sports are similar, right? Because they're less about the particular skills. It's about the structured programs that we can put together. So yes, that's I think one of the quite unique advantage that we have compared to what we 6 years ago. But again, back to the years ago, like if you ask me why we decided to do training, the training platform, because we've identified our goal of mission almost from day one. Like we need to set up a company or brand that helps consumers to be better.
Okay.
Right? And then training is mandatory in that time. And then it's expensive. You know, you have a team, you have a dedication, you keep doing research and all the developing that's behind it. Even at the most difficult time of COROS, I mean financially, when we didn't have the revenue, the profit to come here to sustain the whole business. And then we have to make some tough decisions, like you scale down a little bit into whatever, like that's gone years and years ago. But
anyway, but you're
at a very difficult
interesting
time.
That you are talking openly, that you're not just growing and
then you don't know how much the investment to training, you don't know when would you see the return. We still kept the sports science team and training team on our, in our team. Like this is one thing you should not cut. We have to keep it. So that pays off so far, right?
Okay.
We are one of the few companies that's still within the training industry, and we kept building it better and better. There's always room for improvement. We are aiming to make it better, and we are aiming to make it more accurate. We aim to make it easier to use as well, because training can be complicated. You don't always take the top Olympic elite training method to a regular consumer. Like it's just too much. Our job is to make any training method approachable, easy to use. Again, the simplicity and the easy, to make sure it adapts to everybody. Like people, for you and I, we have jobs, daily life, family to take care of. You only have an hour or two in the morning to train or in the evening. How can we make the best use of our time?
Yeah, I saw it. I thought it was an investment from you. It's still on development anyway. And if you compare your first app with an app now, it's kind of a day and night change and really great effort. And this is maybe also the thing, the most asked thing is to get your cycling into the same training, because I know many COROS people like your training app, and they don't, or it's difficult. You can get in your rides, but it's not that easy if you have a COROS bike computer.
Correct. That's one thing we'll do.
And in terms of sustainability, I also like that you are. So in terms of sales, maybe not the best decision, but what I like is that even when you started getting maps on Vertex 2, a few months later you get it for the Vertex 1 too, and so you constantly are updating the old watches. Is it also and is it something that the customer is thanking you and it's an investment also in the future, I think, because people are not, if you see the Vertex 2 and the Vertex 2S, there are many people who will not switch because they know the Vertex 2 will get firmware updates and everything.
Yeah, you don't need to, right? If you already have Vertex 2, you don't need to. I mean, that decision is also a pretty big decision that we almost define from day one. Like I said, we are in a community where consumers' reputation matters a lot. It's just our category. So instead of investing money in like outreaching, new marketing, paid advertisement, all these things, we think the more efficient part is how do we make the current customer happy? And then they become the best promoter of the brand. And then they will talk to their friends and bring this over. And the friends will buy it. Exactly. So how do we make them happy? Every company, again, talks about how do we keep the current customer happy, customer satisfaction. That's just every day. But here's a few things that we do. And then we did it almost from day one. One, we almost never run price discounts. Like almost from, even the like Black Friday, the big sale period, like no price discount. Why? Well, unless it's like clearance, right? Things that's different. Old models that that phase out, that's different. But like no consumers will like, hey, I bought a watch today at full price and seeing it on sale 2 weeks later. That just, maybe they don't complain it because they understand that's how business operates, but they don't like it. People get used to it, but it's usually the price should be the price. Right from the beginning, should the product have the right price? An awkward feeling. If it's awkward, like, why should we make the customer like decision making more complex? So we don't want consumers to think about where to buy a COROS, when to buy a COROS. It's just which COROS is best for you, right? That's the only decision you need to make. So we make every day is the best day to buy a COROS. That's one of the reputation that we have. And so you don't have to wait. You don't have to look around. That eventually that builds a trust. So there is a trust between the consumer and the brand. They know, like, I'm just buying it. No, you're not going to backfire my whatever decision, right? And people didn't believe it from the beginning. It was tough. You see, there's another competition brand run a sale, and they have sales like this, and the sales dropped. Right? That's just naturally is happening from for this strategy. So that's one thing we did, and it started paying off like a year or so later. And the other thing we did was to keep developing new features for existing hardware, as long as the hardware capacity allows. Sometimes the processor. Or as long as the software makes sense for the hardware. For example, we never built climbing features into the pace line because it's a plastic watch. Very easy to break it if you use it for climbing, right? So that's a couple of reasons for that. One, again, customer satisfaction. Everybody will be extremely happy. Existing users will appreciate you get more new features to them. And it's funny, our revenue or our website traffic, you obviously see big spike for hardware launches. Every brand does that. But for us to have more frequent software launches, every single software launch, you see a spike of consumer activation, purchase, and website traffic, and all these things, because our existing consumers are talking about you. Right. And if you launch a hardware, like, I already have a watch, I don't want a new watch. Like, it cares. It doesn't matter as much to existing users, but it's the software thing. So we keep them happy. And then from a business standpoint, like eventually consumer decide their product decision, purchase decision by, hey, how much value you have? What's the price? You know, there's a ratio. For this price, if you get this much of, let's say, feature set, some consumer consider it great. I like it. Some consider, no, not enough. You know, I want to be a lower price. So that's why companies drop their price, because they want to gain bigger market. You know, if this is the product, this is the price, you know, 100 people buy it, but the other 200 people don't like it. So they start dropping the price until a point that these 200 people buy it.
Yeah, yeah.
For us, we want the same. We want to grow a business, but we did it in the other way. We keep the price as is. We keep adding features to the product. So it serves the same goal. The ratio still goes up. And then maybe you don't like it, seeing this watch is not ready for you, 300 euro too much. But two months later, we have a new feature. Now you look at it. Oh, maybe, oh, that makes sense to me now. So we solve the same problem in a different route and keeps everybody happy, right? All the customers happy and all these things. So I honestly don't understand why brands won't deliver their new features to old hardware. Like, seems like they're forcing consumers to buy a new device.
I see it. One big brand is doing it.
All right.
You get totally mathematic algorithms only who get the new watch get it and the old watch don't get it.
Yeah.
It's just a method. It's just a formula that it's implemented. Who just kind of an endurance score something, and you have to buy the new watch to get it. Although the old watch has the same sensors. From
bookkeeping, a financial standpoint, the new watch sales will go up for sure, right? But as human nature, we want to think about business, the brand, as the entire human experience, like, you know, consumer experience. Like, those consumer satisfaction, how much your consumer is talking to like his friends, is very difficult to be measured, or impossible to be measured, right? We did this strategy without any financial analysis. Like, okay, we're gonna gain 10% more sales if we do this strategy versus no. There's nothing. It's only human. You know, human talk to human. Humans do business with human. We know how human feels if you do this. If you believe that they feel better, they will appreciate it. And that's how all these, you know, new revenue or new traffic show up. And still we have yet to have a way to accurately measure it. But we just say, hey, let's do the right thing. Do the right thing is the one.
So you increase, and there we are back on the training hub. You introduce a training hub, which is complicated and now getting better and better and better. And at first it was kind of limited, and although good for the launch, and then you launch this and that, the app gets better. So over the time of 2, 3, 4 years, I own a watch. I know people who own their COROS 5, 6 years. They get more value and value and value over the years, and the watch keeps its value.
Yeah,
and
that's our sustainability effort as well. Like, you don't have to buy a new watch every 2 years, 3 years. We'll support it. The longevity of our device is upon the software development, right? So, you know, I have friends ask me that, hey, you launched your Vertex 2S, should I buy it? You know, I'll just tell them, don't buy it. You know, it's not a big enough difference from your current device versus the new one, right? Keep using the current watch. Like, I'll give them suggestions as a friend. That's and I encourage all of our customer service team to do the same thing. When you have new consumer reach out, don't just try to, hey, sell it to them. You're gonna make 500 more or something. Give them the friend advice they can have, and the consumers will trust you in the long term. They like you.
Yeah, cool, interesting. So now I'm really looking forward to the history of the bike computer. And I remember that we spoke 2, 3, 4 years ago, and I don't know if you remember, but I talked to you. You have to bring a dial or some kind of dial to the bike computer, maybe a bigger one to use gloves or something like this. Yeah. So was I a part of it, that the new bike computer gets a dial, or did you have it in mind before?
I mean, I think our audience have seen it on the slide here and there. There is a dial here, but I think
It was my idea, wasn't it?
Yeah, I should give you credit.
I'm kidding.
I'll put your signature right here.
I'm kidding. Yeah. But I'm just kidding, but anyway, we talked about it, and I said, okay, this would be something new. You just have to put another display on it and make a Vertex 2 on the bike computer. Bigger. It's not that easy. That as I talked about it, I think you have a lot of challenges to develop such thing, and so you talked about this. What can we make better or different? So what is the key of the development of the new bike computer?
Yes, great question. Back to consumers, right? Yeah. So we try to figure out what kind of improvement we could do. I think the answer was simpler life, simpler experience. Like I said, cyclists have so many things to worry about. Before you start a ride or after you finish a ride, you're gonna put everything back to the right place and then go do a shower or something. So how can we make it easier, right? We hope bike computer is the one least thing to worry about, and that's why we want to build a device. Thinking about like when you drive your car, you have a dash screen right, in the car. Things that you never worry about at all, right? You just get in the car, start it, they start displaying some information for you. It is the dash screen for information. Okay. And then you don't worry about charging it. You don't worry about removing it. You know, these things like, it's interesting, like why bike computer into today, like still a little bit demanding for consumers. So that's how we started. So here are a couple of things that we do. I think we can help. Obviously, by the time we launch this podcast, I think it will be right around product launch day.
Yeah, we are kind of pre-recording it. I think the launch is 2-3 weeks away. Yeah. And you have a prototype here, and so we will publish it at launch. I think maybe I also published a video with this and showed it already. If I have a test device, we will. We will see how we manage to produce stuff, and so you developed 4 years ago, and kind of I remember you told me that your first idea, maybe I misremember it, I don't know, but that you are thinking about to just display the data from the watch to the bike computer like was the first idea, wasn't it?
That was a mirroring idea. That feature will still be on it as well as part of the features. Okay. But that's back to what I say. How do we make things easier? Like, okay, first one is pretty easy. Battery life. This is what COROS is known for. Yeah. And then we honestly don't know why. Like a watch today could easily last 100 hours in GPS. Or a couple weeks.
With a small battery in it.
Yeah, with a smaller battery. Like this thing is 2-3 times bigger than a watch. And why all the bike computers on the market will only last like, I don't know, 30-40 hours GPS.
Which are the best ones. And usually you have 15 is good, and 15. 25, 35 is actually, I think, the best one.
And you charge it every week also, because you don't know how much battery life. If you want to go out for a ride and it has only 15% battery, should you charge it or should you just go? It's awkward. So
this is an experience I had with COROS. Something remarkable in my mind was I go out for a half marathon with 10% battery life.
Something like
it was only possible with COROS.
So exactly. So because you trust the device, you know it's gonna last. Right. So that's one thing. Like we are still, I think by the time we record this, we're still finalizing the actual battery hours to claim how many hours. But it's gonna easily last more than 100 hours. Okay. On full GPS. Like
full GPS and sensors and everything.
Okay. For just on the battery alone. Right. And this one has a solar panel to the front. Okay. A solar panel that actually works. Like we're not the first one to put a solar panel in the bike computer.
There is a bike computer on the market which I tested the solar panel and it shut off because the sun was too hot.
Oh, that's another problem. Maybe you should ride faster and have more airflow.
And you have really the only benefit was that it was not charging. Even if it's not using, I put it in the garden to charge. Was not possible because it overheat.
Oh, gotcha.
And the only thing you have, it decharges lower, slower.
Oh, slower.
But only a small percentage.
Yeah. So for our solar experience, obviously you ride in a variety of different solar conditions, right? So it's hard to put a number, but in the direct sunlight, assuming good sunlight, the solar panel will charge 4 hours for every hour you ride. So it's 4x your. 4x
so if I ride 8 hours in the sun, I come 8 times 4. I have 24. No, 20.
32
hours. So I come over the next and the next and the next day.
Theoretically, it's never gonna lose battery. It's always running. If you ride in good sun
and
condition.
If you have like a cloudy stuff,
yeah, still get like 25% of the solar input.
So yeah,
it has something.
It has something. So you have maybe 1 hour, 1 hour.
Yeah. So because if you make a turn, your body is give the shade to the solar. It doesn't work. So, anyways, it's a powerful solar panel that gets the job done.
Okay.
So that's one thing.
And it's separated. It's not behind the display stuff like this?
It's the top right here.
Yeah.
So you see the top solar panel right here.
Okay.
This is a prototype, so it doesn't have the final look, but we'll have some small logos here and there. But that's the solar panel.
So this decision to make a real solar panel away from the display.
Yes, away from the display.
Because then it works?
Yeah, it works way better on this.
And I know that the solar panel kind of darkens down displays just for the view of it, which I figured out when I tested it. So this is why I never rode a system with solar from other brands. Because the display always looks nicer if there is no solar behind it. And overheat and stuff like this. So it's one of the first times that I see. So why are you the first to make a separate solar display? It's kind of it looks a little bit new and different than other bike computers because you have now not full display.
Right. I don't know if you can see it from here. But yeah, I don't know why other people don't do that. But that's the solution that we
from the design standpoint, can I take it in the hand now? First time that I have it in the hand. Okay, nice. Okay.
Yeah. It's solar. The screen is slightly brighter than other similar screen that we have. So it looks really good on the direct sunlight.
Yeah, it's a normal MIP.
Yeah, it's MIP screen. But it's better MIP screen than most of the others.
But it looks very sharp, what I see now in the first thing.
It is. And it's a touch screen. It's actually a touch screen if you wanted to use it.
So the only thing is that you now have a big black square on top of the screen, but which from the design thing it doesn't look awkward.
Yeah, hopefully. Well, it's very personal, right? I'm glad you like it.
Yeah, but it's difficult to explain. But this is something I was not sure about. But the great thing is you gave it to me and I'm just dialing around and it works. It's kind of this is crazy.
Yeah.
I think this is also the secret of also other companies like Apple and stuff like this. This invisible thing, you take it in the hand and you know what to do.
Right. So yeah, that's the problem. The first problem we're trying to solve is, when you have a long enough battery life, you don't need to take it off for charging as often, right? Depending on how you ride.
Can I switch everything on and off, or is it anything that it will crash?
You mean you want to? No, that's fine.
I can play around everything. I'm sorry.
Play around.
I was distracted because I'm playing around.
Talk to me.
Yeah. I have to put it away. Otherwise, I don't hear what you're telling about. Sure. Because it's great to have it first time in hand.
Yeah, and then your battery life first thing to make things easier, right?
Yeah.
And two is, we also don't understand. I shouldn't say we don't understand, but cyclists are removing their bike computer from their bikes most time when they're done with the ride. Do you do that as well?
Yeah, always.
Why you have to do that?
Sometimes not, but most of the time I do it.
Well, for what purpose? For charging or for other things?
It's kind of a habit. First of all, the habit to make, otherwise, and I have different bikes also.
Yeah, you switch between like,
yeah.
What if you could just leave it on the handlebar? And then when you need to switch, next time you go out, right, turn it around and put it on the bike. Like,
yeah, sometimes I do it, but you're now I'm using a bike computer which is kind of a smartphone thing, and the battery life is okay for a smartphone thing. It's 10 to 12 hours, but I have to charge it twice a week.
Yeah, so charging is one thing, one reason. We also think there's other reasons why. For example, you want to see your post-activity data, right? You want to see your overall fitness status, or maybe you want to load a new navigation route. You want to make sure it's on there or whatever. And we think there's a better way to solve it, because everybody has this thing, the phone, to go with you everywhere. Like, if we want to build an experience, the phone works with the bike computer so seamlessly that any data that you have is on the phone, that you do your route planning, you see your activity, you see your daily status on your phone, and it just syncs over with the bike computer like seamlessly. So it's a habit that consumer can grow. Like, I've been riding with this for over a year right now. I always leave it on my handlebar with my bike, and I walk away.
And how often do you charge it in a year?
That's pretty often, because it's a device that's the beta firmware, not the final firmware. We always have to update the firmware on that.
Right. So you have to
consume a lot of battery, but I just leave it there unless I need to remove it to go to my computer to update some new firmware for new features. Then I'll do it. But even for updating firmware, like, we just press it on the phone and update and send it directly to the bike computer. It has Wi-Fi in it as well. So, like, this phone is an extension of bike computer. You don't have to take the bike computer with you. Just use your phone. It does everything. And
if I have a Komoot route planned,
you do it on the phone as well.
I do it on my computer and ready, and then I go to my bike computer and it's already there. And if I don't have Wi-Fi, it goes with Bluetooth. Then
you can do this thing. Like, usually you park your bike within the Wi-Fi range of your home,
usually
right?
yes.
That does everything.
So I started, and then if I start the device, it goes to the Wi-Fi and say, there's new Komoot. I put it on, like COROS watches are doing it also.
Komoot and Strava. So, and a few other things like, hey, this bike computer wakes up in 1 second. I know you other bike, try it. The lower button, just press the lower button.
This is the starting time.
1 second.
Okay. So it was totally shut off?
No, it wasn't totally shut. It was sleeping. So you just wake it up.
Okay. And
you don't need to shut it off. Like, do you shut off your dash screen on your car? No, you just leave, right? It knows how to save battery life by itself.
You have very complicated the tricks to restart the dashboard in the car, like
the cars,
but it's like the watches, they're always on.
Always on. It's sleep. The power consumption is extremely low. Like, it just stays there.
Does it charge when I put it in the sunlight?
In sunlight, yes, but not in the moonlight.
But if I'm not using it and the display is off, does it still charge?
Yeah, it can still charge. Just put it in the sun if you want.
So the 100 hours, maybe 100 plus hours.
100 plus.
So you are in the same. You're in the same use range like the wireless gear changing stuff like DI2, Shimano,
those will be all
and
compatible.
SRAM. So you're kind of, I charge this device as I do my SRAM Access
almost
thing.
Right. And then plus it has solar. So you have a chance to not charge it at all forever. There's a chance.
At least if I put it in my window I want to leave it on my bike. If I don't leave it on my bike and put it on the window when the sun is shining
that saves your electrical bill as well.
I know. I have solar on my roof.
Okay.
The only time which is not really nice, it's from November to February in Europe.
Right.
But plus minus after it, we are kind of using 100% solar, including cars with big batteries in. So I expect in summer you can. I expect that you can do it without charging in summer.
I expect that too, because I live in California.
But this is kind of a revolution thing.
Yeah, and then like during the ride, when you have to, you want to change your navigation route, right? You want to change something, you can do it on the phone as well. You could do it on the bike computer, but sometimes if you just have a quick stop,
can I put an address in here also?
On the phone. You can put an address on the phone, because typing on bike computer is just not ideal. Type on the phone, and then one button sync over to bike computer or load a new route. Right there. And then there's also some other features that we built as well, like the phone and the bike computer just work together. One thing that we built is that it provides turn-by-turn navigation, right? And then you can reroute the navigation. If you go off course, it will tell you. We should call it COROS Dura, by the way. we didn't say the name.
Yes,
it's a name. COROS Dura. So, Dura is a Spanish term that we took. It means hard thing.
Oh, right.
It's hard. So, by the way, when you go off route, and then the Dura is actually utilizing the phone assisted by Google Maps. To do the actual new route planning.
All right.
Yeah. Why we think this is better for now and also for the future? Like, people have been abandoning their old car GPS navigation, right? Everybody uses Google Maps, Apple Maps to drive. Why we still have to rely on an offline single unit for bike riding? That just doesn't make sense, right? The future, where is the future? The future should be online navigation, because it always has the latest road, right? Maybe there's new area, just built 2 new roads. Your bike computer map, which you purchased like 3 years ago, didn't have it, and you forgot to update it or whatever. But with online navigation, you always have the latest road. It can have. And then to update the base map layer on the bike computer on Dura is also very convenient through the phone and the Wi-Fi. So that's one. And two is Google Maps oftentimes will help you to avoid some closed roads.
Which, this is something.
On the offline standalone unit, you couldn't do it, right? It may be like seasonal closure in Yosemite in California. Like, this road is closed for the whole winter, but the bike computer will take you through it.
But you have offline maps on it?
Yeah.
But the navigation also gets the online data as a help.
As it goes.
Because first step is to put a GPX or Komoot route on it. So I have from A to B my route. And if I can't use it anymore, because sometimes I'm going to get stuck because there is some road traffic problem, then you go online. And does the device use the phone as internet connection as well, right?
Yes, kind of. It does everything automatically. You don't have to switch anything. Just let it run in the background. The device will know, oh, you are not off. I'll give you the new route. It's utilizing the Google Maps API to give you the information.
All right. So it's nothing to worry about. So I don't need to have to. Maybe I just have to put if I live in Europe, I put Europe on it, and that's it. And then, or is it worldwide?
Preloaded worldwide. It should preload worldwide, so you don't have to load maps. And you can update the maps if you want. Like sometimes our server pushes new maps to the app, then you see the map update, and you just click a few buttons.
Does it also know if I go gravel or road and stuff like this?
At launch, we won't have the road type, but this is one feature that we're looking at developing in the future.
All right. Okay. Nice.
So that's the part of the navigation, and then
the navigation thing. The navigation itself is kind of crucial also for the ease of use. I need to. This is something I like with the new Karoo, for example, which is kind of I see at a glimpse where to go. What's your idea to make the people or the rider really find out ways quickly, zoom in, zoom out, stuff like this. So are there also special ideas in this case that you make the life easier in navigation?
I believe our current experience is pretty clear. Obviously, we're sitting in a studio. We can't do it.
Can't try it.
But I'll be very curious to hear feedback after you actually use it and let us know.
I will make a video kind of at the same time like this podcast.
The beauty of COROS business model is that we always improve our software anyways. So if there's a better way to do it, I won't promise that we'll do everything perfectly at launch. There's always a room for a future improvement. And then I think a couple other things for the experience is like we also reduce the amount of buttons on the computer. Like I don't remember, like some other bike computers, they offer 5 buttons, 7 buttons, a lot of buttons. For us, it's just 2, like the watch, the dial, and 1 lower button, to use some features. And it's all within reach when your hands is on the handlebar and your finger can control both of them. So it's very safe to use it. Don't want to mess up with all kinds of, don't operate as much. And then it has the optional touchscreen if you want to just swipe and down for some data page changes or drag the map layers here and there. So that's the ease of use during the ride. We want to make it safer. Yeah.
Okay.
And all in all, lastly, it's the one thing you said, we have the training platform. Yeah, we have the watch. We have, I have the heart rate monitor on it. It's compatible with all kinds of cycling accessories on the market. It's after all your fitness and cycling data should be in one place. The COROS app has everything. It's compatible with other Strava, Komoot information if you want to send it out. That's cool. But why cyclists should have to use different apps? Like some people go out running for one, sleep tracking for another, and then your gym activity for the third one, and cycling for the fourth, whatever. But there's one. Just do it with COROS ecosystem. And then that's the universal experience we're trying to create, and you don't have to worry about too many other things. And well, obviously for other platforms, like for me, I'm a Strava user for social. Obviously, we will sync it over. I'm a Strava paid member. We can still do that as well. Yeah,
nice. Yeah, interesting.
Cool.
So the first thing is what I see, that the display is really near on the screen. Is it kind of a special glass that you're using, or?
That I need to look into that, but it's the components that we pick to make our product experience better.
First we have a very bright light, and it's very good visible, which is important, and I'm really looking forward to test it live.
Yeah, cool. I have a question for you though.
Yeah.
How much do you think we still sell it for?
The price.
We haven't finalized it yet. Like based on the information you just have, based on what current the market is offering, how much do you think we should sell it for?
I expect
3 weeks before the product launch. So
now I say the totally wrong price, and it's double. I expect it maybe also something around 400 or 500 euros, something
500
like
euros.
this.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Yeah, and make us competitive.
Yeah. I know the price should not be the decision point at the end. It has to be a price that we live. You as a company live. We as a dealer have to live, and then at the end the consumer needs a product that helps him to do stuff. And I think it's with most products there is not one product that fits all. And I see a very, very special ICU on every bike packing setup, for example. Awesome. And maybe not, and like you did the trail running thing, maybe you are kind of the bike packing cycling computer in the beginning, and then here and there will the roadies and the athletes with the training hubs, and the runners who do casual riding will also use it because they're in your ecosystem first.
That's a good point. Like we thought about what kind of cyclist should we approach at the very beginning. We think it's a combination of training and adventure. Yeah. Right. So like it's a navigation tool, So adventure matters. You want to make sure you find the right way. And it's also training. You have to train to spend time to prepare for a project or for a trip.
Yeah.
So that's a combination, the sweet spot for us to launch our product. That also fits the brand DNA or brand, you know, it's a mountain sports brand. And then we love to have the freedom in the mountains, in the outdoors to enjoy our time. So we will.
So the first thing I see, it's adventure.
Yeah.
Because I know that there the battery thing and the thing is the computer has to work, has to be reliable and everything. What I see that you are using the same software platform like on the watches.
Yeah,
it's
similar.
Not a different system,
Similar.
isn't it?
Very similar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just you have to just put it on Square. Easy to say.
I wouldn't say our development is that easy, but
I know.
You know, want to deliver for what consumers can see. It's a universal experience. So you don't have to learn about how to use it if you're from the watch side. But if you're a new COROS user, it's pretty easy to navigate.
Does it share the platform? So if you have new ideas for the watch, that you can easily push it to both devices then?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the goal. It takes time to develop, but there are things that we achieve on the bike computer and then will appear on the watch as well. Oh, I actually missed one thing. I think that's pretty interesting. Maybe the other brands will copy us too. To make, like I said, the ultimate goal is to make this one stays on your bike. You don't have to worry about it. Just go. Another problem that we solve is a data sync. Like obviously, how soon would you see your post-activity data on your app or on Strava? It depends on how big the file size is, right? If you go out for like double century, that's a huge day. That's gonna take time. To load it. It may take 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and then it's a bit awkward. You arrive at home, you're ready for a shower. You have to wait. My bike computer hasn't synced to my phone yet. So what we do here is this bike computer, COROS Dura, is syncing with your phone, real time, real data during the ride.
Wow. So
when you finish at home, press finish. No matter how big the file size is, takes 3 seconds, 5 seconds to get job done.
Because it's already in the cloud.
Yes,
as long as I have internet connection.
I need to figure this out. But even if you ride without internet on the phone, maybe it's stored on your phone already.
Okay.
On the app. So when you finish, just one thing, couple seconds, done.
Also live tracking that other people can see my data
live tracking will be, I think live tracking should be announced before the actual Dura launch. So there are pieces we will put together.
And the data pages I can use, like I saw that you have training, I can use my interval training, I can load it on it.
Yeah, like the training system.
Training peaks, stuff like this.
The FTP and all these things will all come.
And the data pages, so you have usually like 10 data fields that I can use.
It's different layouts you can pick from the app that you just change it.
ANT Plus, I saw that you're not only Bluetooth related.
ANT Plus before the bike computer.
So the rest I will have tested or will test live. And I think that right now I can tell that there is a huge customer group which will like the computer. I also know that there are many people who are in other ecosystems who will not change to this device, but I expect something. I know some of my customers who I already know that they will really get into it and say, okay, this ease of use and the battery life, it's kind of crazy thing. Most important thing.
Very excited. We're very excited about this.
And then, will it be a success? Do you know?
I'm confident.
You're confident, right?
Our team are very confident and excited about this. It'll be successful, right? As long as we solve consumers' problem, we're really helping to improve the experience. It's just a matter of time.
What are the difficulties if you are starting this? Because I see from the hardware side, I know that you're able to buy screens, you're able to buy a solar panel, then you have to make the glass and the housing. Housing is kind of a design thing. You have to make it for your device itself. And I see the greatest difficulty, and it's unique for your watches too, because many other watch constructions are like, I buy this button, this glass, this housing and everything. You have the dial. You can't go to a supplier and say, okay, I take this dial or that dial. You have to make it by yourself, isn't it? That way?
Well, it's on one side, all the components, we have to identify the best supplier. We have to put them all together. And then it's a lot of co-development with the supplier to make sure one piece talk to another and it's best fit. Like even, for example, the coloring of the watch is actually more difficult than most people think.
Yeah.
Because it's like, if you want to make a universal color from different materials, everything has to work together. So it's a lot of work there. But for the dial, I don't think it's a rocket science. Like nobody else can achieve it. You know, it's more of an understanding or opinion from different companies. Like, do you think a dial is the better experience that can make people's lives simpler? That we do. We believe it. So that's why we invest time to fine-tune the dial experience. How does it roll just at the right spot and give the right response, the vibration response from the consumers and all these things. It takes time. It takes some dedication to make it happen. But it's not like, okay, we have the patent, nobody else can achieve it. Well, anybody can achieve it if you're dedicated.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
So one A or B question, which I should have asked, is software or hardware?
It cannot go apart. It has to be together, right?
Yeah.
They both, both software, hardware, the apps, the training content, the training method, everything sports science we put together contributes. The number one goal is helping consumers to achieve a better fitness or athletic goal. So it just cannot, we just can't separate it.
So this is kind of a good thing to finish the episode, because I think, and I learned a lot about your DNA and your idea to make the software, to make the products sustainable because of getting software to all devices. I see a product here which I like a lot, although there is a big black thing on top of where you can think, okay, design-wise, maybe it's not perfect, but it looks nice anyway and has a functionality, and I see already that there is software on it which will work easy, because I know it from your watches, which will be for a launch product really good, I think.
Great.
With room for improvement as always, but I think this togetherness of your software ideas, your software DNA, and your really effort and cost and everything into software, as well as the nice hardware which you really in the past it's sometimes like, if you look at the Pace 3 Vertex, they're always nice watches, and still the Pace 3 to make it hardware wise one of the lightest watches in the world is not the easiest thing.
No,
and anyway difficult. Then there is the software which works, so this is something. Yeah, I wish you all the best. That this will be also a success in the future.
Yeah,
and also for us.
You.
If I hope we have some in stock now that people can try it. I think there are many. I think you have a great community, and many people are waited for this.
It will look great on your handlebar as well. The design, because I don't have the mount with me today. But there's
one picture which I saw with in the background, and which. So this is the most important thing. Nice that you have a nice black design and the shapes, and
it's pretty aerodynamic.
A little bit aerodynamic also, and it's a different product. Nobody else. It's not kind of a. Many other companies, also really small companies, even Chinese companies, they do try to copy the other brands, and you make something totally new.
We just want to be different to solve the problem.
So thanks for all these words and your honest opinions and all this background we got. Thank you.
Well,
really great pleasure to have you here.
Yeah, I love it. Thanks for having me today.
I'm really looking forward to test it, and when we published the the podcast I already have tested. So if you now heard all of this, I already have tested, I think. So thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks for all the people out there who hopefully it was good to understand for you. Otherwise, in der nächsten Folge spreche ich dann auf Deutsch nochmal, was wir hier besprochen haben. So I will talk in German in one of our next episodes about the device, about the interview with you, and really nice. Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you.